Kind is better. And coming up today on Afternoon Live, we're spreading kindness, kicking off a very special mission to connect with our youth and help our local youth. It's Kind is Better Day, and it all starts right now on Afternoon Live. Hello and welcome to Afternoon Live, everybody. I'm Trey Renee, and I am super excited for our show today. It's a special day here at K2 as we kick off Kind is Better. We've teamed up with Live 95.5 and your Northwest Honda dealers to create a mission to connect with local youth to better understand their mental, emotional, and physical health needs. Our goal is to become more informed and better prepared to positively support our youth mental health. Here to share more, please welcome from K2 News, Deb Knapp is here.
Thank you,
Yes,
Trey.
yes, I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm so thrilled to be here. I cannot think of a better initiative for K2 to tackle. Really, mental health, and especially with our kids, what a great program.
Tell me why it's so important to us here.
Well, you know, I think for so long it's been something that people don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about depression. They don't want to talk about anxiety or the stress that they're under. And our kids face a lot. There are high expectations on them, and the numbers are alarming, really. And it's something that we've shied away from. We don't want to talk about suicide, but we do need to address it because the numbers are alarming.
Yeah, it's happening. And I know here at K2 we had our mental health town hall, so we're not afraid to talk about what needs to be talked about. But I know that people at home are like, okay, well, how can I get involved?
Well, we have plenty of ways that people can get involved. We've launched a website today called kindisbetter.org, and there's an opportunity for you to submit your story ideas. This is an initiative that we will continually do. It's going to be a weekly program or a weekly story that will showcase on K2 News. We're going to tackle everything from resources available to kids. Some of the stories are going to be probably hard to hear, but we really are going to focus on the inspirational stories as well. And we want to give hope to people because kids have the anxiety, the school abuse, school bullying, whether it's cyberbullying or things that are happening to them in school, we need to address them.
And you are going to have some special features during the news today.
Yes, we're addressing it all afternoon at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and at 6 o'clock. I'll start with the 6 o'clock story that we're focusing on. Multnomah County has more than 40 schools that they have active resources in. Now, that sounds like a great thing, and it is. They'd like to grow it, just school-based mental health services, because that's where our kids spend the majority of their day. They're at school for so long, and so there are opportunities for kids to get resources if they're not feeling great, if they need to talk to somebody and there are other challenges in their life that they can't get to an appointment with a counselor because of whether transportation or activities. School-based mental health is what we're going to be talking about at 6 o'clock.
I love that. Do we get a little preview?
We can listen, yes. This is Vivian Lee at David Douglas High School.
Oh.
I definitely think that our generation is more open-minded, more open to the fact that this isn't just in somebody's head. This is actually something that happens chemically in your brain, and it's just not something that just goes away.
She was so well-spoken. She was so well-spoken.
It's so true. Well, we know that stress and anxiety shows up differently in all ages. And here joining us in the conversation to discuss the warning signs of stress, we welcome psychologist Allan Cordova to the show. Allan?
I'll be talking.
Yes.
Yes, pause. Allan and I are going to be discussing our story at 5 o'clock as well, so he will be featured on our 5 o'clock.
Oh,
newscast.
Well, see, this is happening all day, and this is definitely a collaborative effort. We need all of the community to get involved. But let's talk about these signs of mental distress. How early are you seeing this in our youth?
You know, it really can show up honestly quite early. It's going to look different at different ages. So, you know, with younger children, say preschool, early grade school, of course, because their language skills aren't as developed as those of older kids, we may not really hear them voicing or articulating in terms of language, but we see it more in their behaviors.
Like what? What should we be looking for? Because I'm telling you right now, you said preschool and my mind is just blown because you just don't think about those sorts of issues in kids that young.
think what makes it also complicated is that kids are kind of a moving target. They're changing so rapidly anyway. So what we're looking for is not just, a day or two where they seem out of sorts or sort of off their routine, but kind of more of a persistent shift in their baseline functioning. We might see persistent sleep changes, appetite changes, more tantruming than typical, things like that.
Yeah, gosh, I mean, and it seems that's hard because as a parent, you see so many things anyway. You're not quite sure what to look for, but let's talk about even some of the older kids. If you can articulate it, when do you say, that's a phase, you'll get through it, or when do you start to say, hey, wait a minute now?
Right, right. Again, so there we look for length of change in functioning. So again, if we see something that looks more like, not just a couple of days, but a week or so, if we see changes showing up in multiple settings, that's often, so home, school, activities, things like that.
One thing I thought was interesting when Dr. Cordova and I were talking earlier is that a lot of parents have the misconception that being depressed is normal for a teenager, because you just think that they have teen angst and every teenager
and hormones and mood
hormones,
swings
right.
and all that.
Yeah,
but it's not normal.
Right, yeah, I recall what we talked about is that we of course expect there's going to be some moodiness, some ups and downs, but we want to be careful about too quickly dismissing that and saying that's just what it's like to be a teenager. So yeah, we'd say it's not normal to be depressed for a prolonged period of time. A day or two feeling down, that's definitely normal, even several days, but when things start to stretch week after week and you're seeing sort of increasing concerns and signs that don't really resolve, that's when we begin to think this may be something above and beyond just the normal changes of adolescence.
So are there classes or some help for parents? Because I feel like parents need and caregivers need education.
What do we do?
As well, to look at how somehow combat this.
Right, right. I think obviously schools, and it sounds like some of the other guests are going to be talking a lot about programs in schools. I know a lot of health classes, fortunately, are putting kind of a different focus on mental health, and so educating not only the students themselves, but of course the parents as well. I think just parents talking to each other, talking to other adults who may know the child, bouncing ideas off of each other. I think oftentimes that kind of peer-to-peer support can be one of the best ways for parents to get support.
I'm super excited about that too, because peer-to-peer is important. We have some of that coming up later on today with the whole kind is better. I'm loving this. I am really loving this. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing. We're going to see the segments and the specials during the news today. And thank you, Dr. Cordova, for chiming in and helping us out.
Thanks for inviting me.
All right, it's not over. For more information and a complete resource center that includes contact information for youth mental health, just head to kindisbetter.org. Now, it's Kind is Better Day here at K2, and we'll be right back with more Afternoon Live after this. Stay right there. Thank you.